Hello. Today we're going to have an introduction to some quick and dirty service modeling. In this how-to video, you'll see how to create a very basic service model using the TrueSight Infrastructure Management Administration Console. Let's get started. As you can see, I've already logged into my TrueSight presentation server, and you can see that I have no applications and I have no services. So we're going to see this change by the time we're done here. So let's switch. In this screen, I've already logged in using a terminal services connection, and I've launched the TrueSight Infrastructure Management Administrator console. This is the basic view that you see when you log in. I've logged in with an administrative privilege. You can see that here. And where we get started is under Services Editor. So if we go to Services Editor, this is the view that you'll have for creating your basic service. It's important to note, this is not using the CMDB. This is not using the more advanced automated service model creation features that are available throughout the BMC solution suite. This is a very basic, straightforward, manual way of creating a service model that is still very relevant and very valid. As you can see here, I have no services under My Services or Global Services. This is a new installation, so we're just getting started. So one of the first things we're going to do is hit the Find button, and it will show us the various components that I have in my environment. So in my small lab environment, I have 4 BMC related servers that I'm monitoring. In this particular case, what you want to do is create a new component. We're going to do that by selecting the Create Component button. You'll get a dialog box that will allow you to create some basic information. The key here is we're going to call this service Master Service just for a test. And the class, it's important to switch the class, right? And you can see that there's a lot to choose from when you build out your service models. Okay, what we're looking for is a service, right? So we want ours to be, in this particular case, a business service. And it's very important to have the top of your service, or the key focal element of your service model, to be a business service. That's very important. And also, you can fill in, this is just a test, so I'm not going to fill in too much detail. But when you do this for real, you do want to put in as much information as you're available, that is available to you to conclude. The more detail you include, obviously, the more useful and relevant your resulting service model will be. Of course, you can fill in over name, contact. There's all types of things you can do. I'm going to leave the status model standard. Again, a good point to note here. There's a great deal of information online in terms of best practices and the right way to create service models, all the different choices and why you would pick the certain classes and the different status models and computation models. Those are all there. It's far too detailed to include in this particular video, but I highly recommend that you get online to the various BMC resources to learn how to do that. So I'm going to put BMC under company. That's one of those key fields you want to make sure you fill in. And I'm going to move our priority a little bit. Don't really have to do that, but we're going to, just for fun, we're going to do that. And we can continue to scroll down. And the service type, we want to make sure we hit business service. You could hit technical service, but I'm going to pick business service there, and I'm going to hit OK. So now if we do a find, we'll see that we now have a master service item. And if we drag that out onto our screen, we now have a basic model with the master service identified. So now all we have to do at this point is to connect additional resources that we have. So right here, I can select master service. I'm going to right click and say add relationship. I'm going to hit find, and the first thing I'm going to do is add my presentation server. And this is interesting. When this comes up, it always kind of has this relationship reversed. So I'm just not going to go into the details of why, just simply want to switch that so that it's indicating that the presentation server is propagating its status to the top, or master service. We're going to leave all this default and hit OK. Okay. And we're going to continue to add relationships. We're going to add our Atrium SSO. Same thing, we're going to switch, hit OK. And we can do this in any, any relationship we'd like to. So for example, if we'd like to add one of the servers as a subserver, we can do that. So let's leave the last one and we'll add it to our presentation server. Okay, and then right here from presentation server, I'm going to add a relationship, and I'm going to have my infrastructure server feed my presentation server. Okay. And then pretty soon we have a nice little view of what our service model is going to look like. There's a lot of different icons indicating the various statuses and things like that. Again, referring to the documentation, you can get lots of information about what's happening with each of these instances. Then the last little thing we want to do, if we want things to trigger, we can associate monitors that are being collected by our TrueSight infrastructure environment, and we can associate those monitors with any one of these elements. Some of them are going to automatically be done based on the monitoring that's happening, but if we want to do our own thing, we can right-click again, and we can say Associate Monitors, and we can get a list of all the monitors that are available from our various cells that are feeding. So we can hit Add Monitors, and the various things that we have available will come up. And you can see here that I'm monitoring CPU performance on all of these servers in my environment. I'm going to select all three of them by holding down the Shift key and hit Add Selected. And now I can hit Apply, and those three monitors that I'm collecting in my environment will be associated with that top level master service. And it'll give us a success. And the last thing we can do is if we drag master service up to my services and also global services, that will share it with anyone who might be using the environment. And we can open it up and just to double check that it's all there, and we can see that it is, and that's all there is to it. And this is live. It's connected directly to the primary cell associated with my TrueSight infrastructure environment, and I can switch there. And let's go back and take a look and see if our service showed up in our console. And there we have it. You can see I still don't have any applications, but I do have master service, and we can see that there are some errors already associated with that particular service. And we can see that our model looks exactly as we created it in the administration console. That's all there is to it. Again, really want to emphasize it's very important to get out, look at the best practice documentation that's available online, learn a lot more about service modeling and the tremendous value that it can provide to you. But as you can see, it's very easy to get started with a very powerful tool. Thank you for watching.